Alright guys, so what is the deal with left-handed guitars? In this video, I'm going to talk about some of my favorite companies that make left-handed guitars. And we're also going to talk about whether or not left-handed people actually need to play a left-handed guitar. Over the past couple of years, I've had a lot of people in the comment section request this video, so here we go. Okay guys, so first off, I'm right-handed and I play guitar right-handed like most guitar players do. But as you probably know, there are left-handed guitars. They basically just point the other direction and your picking and fretting hands are reversed. Now, it seems like common sense that a left-handed person would need a left-handed guitar, but that is actually not true. Someone who's either right-handed or left-handed, when they start out, they can choose to play one or the other. It really just comes down to what someone chooses to do when they first start learning how to play the guitar. Let's consider the guitar players Michelangelo Badio, Vinnie Moore, and Steve Morse. What do those guys all have in common? Well, for one thing, they're all great guitar players, but another thing they have in common is they are all left-handed, and yet they play right-handed. Now, I don't know if they deliberately chose that or they just didn't have a left-handed guitar available when they started to play, but for whatever reason, despite being left-handed, they learned to play right-handed. Now, that being said, if someone already plays one way, it's extremely difficult to unlearn that and switch to playing the other way. And so we do want left-handed guitars because we want people who choose to play left-handed to have a variety of guitars available to them. And so that leads me to this next part of the video, and that is what are some of my favorite companies, favorite brands that make left-handed guitars. There are a lot of companies that do this, and a lot of the companies that I've already covered on the channel actually do make left-handed guitars. The first one I want to talk about is Schecter. Now, of course, I've talked a lot about Schecter on this channel before, and they make really great quality guitars, usually between the $500 to maybe $1,200 range. So for some people, the guitars are kind of expensive, but if you're looking for a brand that's a real solid kind of go-to sort of working man's guitar, Schecter is a really good choice for that. And for this video, one of the coolest things about Schecter is they have a huge variety of left-handed guitars. Most guitar models that they have available, they have in right-handed and left-handed versions, even some of the more extreme stuff like their fan fret guitars. Now the next company I want to talk about is Wolf Guitars. Now Wolf is a brand I've featured heavily on my channel. It's a really, really great value brand. I mean, they make really good guitars, really nice hardware and everything, but they just tend to be, less expensive than other brands that are offering the same quality level. I think one thing that a lot of people don't realize about Wolf is that they do have quite a few left-handed guitars. Now, they don't have a left-handed version of every guitar that they make, and they might be a little bit more limited on the left-handed color options, but because of the value you get with that brand, it's still a really good choice for a left-handed guitar. As an example, I got a comment from a young lady here on YouTube named Helena Harris, and she said that she recently picked up one of the awesome Wolf WLPs, and the one she got was left-handed and pink. There's not a lot of companies that make a guitar like that. Now guys, she has actually been putting in a lot of hard work on YouTube recently, so I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the video description below if you want to go over and check out her channel and give her some support. Alright guys, now the next brand I want to mention is Sawtooth. Now I think I've only featured one Sawtooth guitar, and this is definitely a brand that has some really budget-friendly guitars. They've got some stuff down in the $150 range and starter packs and so forth that are very inexpensive but still really solid guitars. And Sawtooth, like these other companies I've mentioned, they have a big selection of left-handed guitars. So if you're a beginner left-handed guitar player and you're looking for an inexpensive guitar, this is definitely going to be a go-to brand for you guys. Alright guys, so I've got two more left-handed guitar brands to tell you about, but real quick guys, if you enjoy content and you enjoy videos like this and you have not already subscribed, please consider subscribing right now. Now this next brand is a really big one, Ibanez. Ibanez makes a ton of left-handed guitars. Now they do not make a left-handed version of every single model, but Ibanez has a ton of different models, and they do make left-handed versions of most of them. Ibanez is sort of known as a shredder's brand, and we can argue about whether or not that matters, but if you're a left-handed guitar player and a fan of Paul Gilbert, there you go, Ibanez. Okay guys, now the last brand that makes a lot of left-handed guitars that I want to tell you about is ESP Ltd. ESP is another brand that makes a really wide variety of guitars. What's impressive about ESP is Not only do they make left-handed versions of most of their standard guitar models, but they even make left-handed versions of some of their signature models. So I'm saying, there's a signature guitar, and the guitar player with the signature guitar plays right-handed. They will sometimes even make a left-handed version of that signature guitar. That's something that not a lot of companies do. Now, ESP is sort of an interesting company because they have like a Japanese market and a whole bunch of guitars that are only sold in Japan. And to be totally honest, I'm not sure if the left-handed models, if that holds true for the Japanese market, but certainly for all the stuff that they sell in the US and the entire LTD line, they have a huge variety of left-handed guitars. Now, I will mention one more thing about left-handed players. There was a time when I had a solo band, and it was like instrumental shred stuff, and I would play gigs here in Los Angeles. For a little while, I had a bass player in the band who was left-handed. And I gotta say, it looked kind of cool. When I'm over here playing right-handed, and he's over there on the other side of the stage playing left-handed, it gave the stage kind of a cool symmetry. Shout out to Nick, the bass player. All right, guys, that's it for this video, but let me know what you think about that. I want to hear from all the left-handed guitar players out there. And I'm really curious, has anybody out there ever tried and been successful at switching from left-handed to right-handed or from right-handed to left-handed? I really want to know. As always, guys, I will put links for all kinds of stuff that I was talking about in the video description below, and I will also include links for my instructional materials and my social media. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you soon.